Let's talk about the compensation of the law of karma. Because the law of karma is not a fixed law. It's not that if it destines us to be ugly, we must remain ugly. If it destines us to be beautiful, we must remain beautiful. If it destines us to be poor, we must remain poor. If it destines us to be rich, we must remain rich, like some immutable fate. Instead, the law of karma possesses a flexibility, a dynamism, and within that flexibility and dynamism lies a form of compensation that is very interesting, which we need to understand. Because many times, we have acted wrongly and then reaped consequences that are so tragic without knowing why. We say, but I go to the pagoda and do good deeds, so why is my life so unlucky? It is simply because we have behaved incorrectly, causing us to be compensated by the law of karma. So today, let's study this aspect for a moment. When we are born into this life, we carry with us the merit and karma of our previous lives. That karmic inheritance seems fixed, it only seems fixed, but it isn't truly fixed. It means that a person is designated with certain indexes of merit and karma. This word, index, we haven't established a systematic convention for it. We're just using it symbolically between us to temporarily understand. For example, we might say this baby is born into the world and will get a beauty index of 30, a temporary wealth index of 50, an intelligence of 45, and a health of 70, for example. Meaning each index, each element of our life has an index. Or let's say the index for a good spouse will be 27. And the family happiness index is 56, for example. Meaning in our life we have many elements, and for each one we carry a number from the past. And that number is almost fixed. Almost. But don't think it is fixed because it can be changed. And it can be changed in this way or that way. And precisely because it can be changed, people have tried to change it. And because people have tried to change it, sometimes when we change it correctly, we become more beautiful, richer, luckier, more successful. But when we have tried to change it incorrectly, we unexpectedly become worse off than before. We thought we'd be richer, but unexpectedly became poorer. We thought we'd be more beautiful, but unexpectedly became uglier. We thought our life would be happier, but unexpectedly it became sadder. Therefore, we are talking to each other today about the law, about the compensation of the law of karma, so that we can understand just how formidable this compensatory nature of karma is, and from there, be careful and avoid bad consequences for our lives. For example, let's say we have a beauty score. At birth, the karma from our previous life gives us a beauty score of 25. With 25, you're not very beautiful, because the index goes up to 100 for a Miss Universe. The person who is painfully ugly, like a ghost or a demon, is a 0. A Miss Universe is 100, so we fluctuate within that range. We can't be Miss Universe? Or are there any Miss Universes here? Is there anyone? If so, I apologize. But is there anyone here who is so ugly that ghosts flee and demons cower? A 0 or a 1? Is there? No, right? Not that bad. Because I haven't heard any reports yet. Because if that person appeared here, our pagoda would be empty, no one would be left here anymore. But since there isn't, we fluctuate in that range. We get a 10, we get a 20, 30, 40, 50. 50 is average. 60, 70 is starting to get more beautiful. But for example, we only get a beauty index of 25. That means we are not very pretty. Not very pretty. We are not very pretty. So we want to become prettier. Because in life, everyone is like that. They want to make themselves a little more beautiful. Even someone like me, being ugly, I also suffer immensely. It's alright. Especially women. Women value their appearance so very much. For some reason, that's just the law. So we want to raise our beauty score. Instead of 25, we want to raise it to 50. Or we want to raise it to 75. What do we do to raise our beauty index to 75 to be considered quite beautiful? We have many ways, right? We ask the cosmetic clinics to cut our eyelids, fix our lips, inject and spray things in, patch things up somehow, iron things out to raise our beauty index. Or we drink some kind of heaven and earth knows what medicine, saying that drinking it will make us beautiful. Or we hear about a well whose water makes you beautiful, so we go and ask to scoop some to splash on our face, and so on. We have many ways to try and raise our beauty index. But in reality, for example, we see we are ugly, so we get our eyelids cut, lips fixed, some injections, I don't know. I'm not very familiar with it. Do you look more beautiful? Do you? You do look more beautiful, it's true. And it's possible to become more beautiful up to 75. Meaning, from a 25, we are considered ugly. After we get cosmetic surgery using surgical techniques, we become a 75, which is great, it's beautiful. And because of this change, we find it easier to communicate, easier to do business, and so on. That's how it is. But the thing we adjusted, it goes against the law of karma. It goes against the law of karma, meaning our merit is only for a 25, but we didn't find a way to raise the merit to 75. Instead, we used a technique to raise it to 75. So, according to the law of compensation, what happens? We will have to compensate for it later. We will have to compensate by becoming painfully, hideously ugly to the point of being unrecognizable. At that time, suddenly, the spots where we got injections, the fixes, they start to ooze, to form keloid scars, to become ulcerated, even cancerous, and we can't go outside anymore. Because at that point, our face has truly turned into a demon's. Because we have been compensated. Meaning, our karma was 25, but we wanted to enjoy a 50 or 75, so afterwards we must compensate by becoming painfully, hideously ugly. And there have been people who experienced this. There have been very famous people who were extremely beautiful but were not content and wanted to be even more beautiful through techniques. So when they got old, they were extremely ugly and never dared to go out, disappearing completely from this life. One time, an old couple came to visit. After the old couple left, I asked my disciples to observe them and tell me if they noticed anything strange. After some observation, everyone said they saw that the old man was very handsome, he had aged well. But the old woman was not beautiful. I then said this, but in the past, it was the opposite. In the past, the old man was not handsome, but the old woman was very beautiful. He had to woo her to marry her. But why is it that now, in old age, he is handsome and she is not? Why is that? Simply because when she was young, she raised her beauty index with lipstick and powder. She was always painting and drawing all sorts of things on her face. So she enjoyed more beauty merit than she actually had. In old age, she naturally became uglier than him. As for the man, he didn't wear makeup. He didn't wear makeup. Are there any men here who wear makeup? Raise your hand and let me see. There are no men who wear makeup. Usually, men leave their faces as they are, usually. Therefore, in old age, he naturally enjoyed the handsome aging of old age. Saying this might offend some singers and actors. Because singers and actors, they are under the lights, they are forced to wear makeup. They are forced to wear makeup. But when an actor wears makeup, this is a disadvantage. A disadvantage for our artists. They have to accept raising their beauty index through technical means. This is also a misfortune. A disadvantage, something to be compassionate about. So, if we see artists whose faces are not good in their old age, we must be compassionate. Because they have sacrificed for their art. Understand it like that. But we know because the law of karma is strict, unyielding, we just have to accept it. But for a Buddhist, for example, a female Buddhist who goes to the pagoda a lot, in her old age, she becomes more beautiful. Why? Because when you go to the pagoda, you don't dare to paint and powder too much, right? Is there anyone who goes to the pagoda, about to sit for meditation and says, wait, let me put on some powder before I can meditate? Is there? No, right? So we leave our faces normal with little makeup. Thanks to that, the beauty of old age is lasting. At the same time, we know how to prostrate to the Buddha, we know how to practice, our mind changes, so the merit is raised, the merit index for beauty is raised. So in old age, we often age beautifully. That's the compensation. Now let's talk about something else. For example, health. Like, for example, a person is born with a merit and karma that gives them a health index of 50. That means the person is that strong. There will be times they are sick like this. There will be times they are healthy like that. An index of 50 is average. But this person wants to be stronger through a technical means. So they start taking medicine. Or injecting special chemicals, special hormones, or some kind of special supplement, including special vitamins, thinking that supplementing with vitamins, supplementing with hormones, supplementing with special substances will make the body stronger. And it's true, they do become stronger. It's true, they really do become stronger. But that strength only lasts for 3 years. 5 years. And after that, the internal organs completely collapse, they are ruined. And many scientists have also seen this. and they have put it into films as a warning. There's a movie about a doctor who discovered a type of medicine, a chemical, that when injected into a person, they would become extraordinarily strong, able to work without getting tired. But there was just one thing. After a period of being strong and working tirelessly, all their flesh would suddenly disintegrate and fall off, sitting there picking off flesh, and it would fall off in chunks. That's just a movie. In reality, it doesn't fall off in chunks, but in reality, it causes cancer. If we inject a chemical to make ourselves extraordinarily strong to work, after a period of time, we will get cancer. That's it. So that is the compensation of the law of karma. Therefore, if we want our health index to increase from 50 to a higher level, we should raise our merit in some way and not use a technical means like that. Raising it that way is not sustainable. And if you do raise it with a technical means, you must accept the consequences. In a moment, we will talk about what kind of karma allows us to raise our merit index. Or assets, it's the same. Assets are the same. For example, we have the merit for a wealth index of, say, we have one house to live in. And our merit is just that much. But we want to become a business owner. So we take that house and mortgage it to borrow capital. Based on the assets we have, the bank lends us 5 or 7 billion. Since our house is quite big, for example, 5 to 7 billion. With that 5 to 7 billion, we start a business. So at that moment, we are enjoying two blessings at once, right? We still have the house we live in, the bank didn't take it, and at the same time, we have 5 to 7 billion to do business with. So we are enjoying two blessings, while our real merit is how many? Our real merit is how many? Just one house. But after we make the move to borrow capital to do business, we are enjoying two blessings. So after a period of time, how does it compensate? How does it compensate back? Usually, when we mortgage our house to do business, especially for those who are not dedicated to business, not discreet, not humble, but act arrogant and showy with that borrowed money, then after a period of time, they will fail and lose even the house they live in. That is the compensation of the law of karma. The only exception is if someone borrows capital to do business and is dedicated to the business, is humble, discreet, doesn't show off, knows how to do business, and also knows how to do good deeds. Then they might unexpectedly overcome it, regain their assets, grow their assets, pay back the bank loan, and stand on their own feet. There are cases like that. But usually, if we enjoy both blessings when we only have the merit for one, it is very worrying. The compensation of the law of karma will take it all back. It will take it away to compensate. Or, we hear it introduced that there are types of medicine that stimulate intelligence to make my child study smart and pass exams with flying colors. So they drink this medicine that will stimulate intelligence. And after drinking it, they seem smarter, it's true. After drinking it for a while, the child seems sharp, memorizes lessons easily, and works with a more enduring mind. But after passing the university entrance exam, graduating from university, their brain is ruined. They become a mentally unstable person, a bit crazy, a bit foolish. So that is the compensation coming back. If we raise our intelligence by making merit, that intelligence is very sustainable. But if we raise that intelligence by using some kind of technical means, some kind of chemical or drug, it works for a while. And then afterwards we have to compensate in reverse, we have to become stupid again, stupider than before. That is the compensation of the law of karma. So we see that if we don't understand the principle of the compensation of the law of karma, we make many mistakes and later on we suffer very difficult consequences. Or, some people believe in feng shui. They say that having the house facing this direction, the kitchen in that direction, is not good for business. So we change the kitchen this way. Change the house's direction, the door that way, and things will get better. It might get better. It might get better if the feng shui is correct, then afterwards things get better. But when we prosper, if we don't make merit, then later we will decline even more. Because we have been compensated. We have enjoyed more merit than we possess. Or, there's a type of charm called a persuasion charm or a love charm. A persuasion charm is like this. The person goes to a charm master who puts a charm in their pocket. When they go to do business, they go and talk to people and people just naturally believe them. They just naturally believe them, and they give them capital to do business. Whatever they say, they believe. They go and talk to people, and they just naturally believe them. They just naturally believe them, and they give him capital to do business. Whatever he says, they believe. And so, he becomes very successful. And it's true, in this world, if you go and interact with people, go out for diplomacy, and whatever you say, people believe you, will you be successful? You will definitely be successful. But that success is thanks to the charm, not our real merit. And after a period of time, the situation reverses. When the charm runs out, it's no longer effective. Then wherever we go, people are disgusted with us. Disgusted. Or like this, there was a man, when he was young, he got a love charm from a charm master. A love charm is, I don't know, he soaked a cloth in some water. He would go around carrying the cloth, and whoever he flicked it at, that person would just mindlessly follow him home. And in this way, he also harmed many people thanks to that love charm. So the karmic consequence for him later on was that everyone despised him. He lived in solitude, no one wanted to even look at his face. And he died without anyone knowing. That is the compensation of the law of karma. But if we live and interact with people with true morality, with inner cultivation, so that people appreciate us for our real virtue, then it will be very lasting. So remember, the compensation of the law of karma is like that. So if we want more than the merit we have, then later we will lose everything. If we want more than what we have through some kind of wrong technique, not through merit, not through karma, not through virtue, then we will lose it all. Or for example, there's this guy, a bit of a tough guy, big and strong in the neighborhood. One time he got into a fight and beat someone up. From then on, people were afraid of him. Whenever he saw some kids with money, "Hey, give me your money," the kids, scared, would pull out their money and give it to him. From that, he learned one thing: just be arrogant, just be fierce, and people will be afraid of you. And when people are afraid of you, whatever you say, they have to listen. Whatever you tell them to give, they have to give. That guy saw it as a life philosophy. From then on, he kept trying to equip himself with a fierce, arrogant attitude to oppress everyone. Until he got arrested and put in prison. When he got arrested and put in prison, he also tried to pull that same trick to become a big brother. He pulled that trick to become a big brother. Meaning, in prison, he would oppress this person. Oppress that person, beat this person, beat that person to claim the share of provisions for prisoners. The food that visitors bring in, he'd oppress them and take it all, and so on. But when his merit ran out, he must have had some merit to be able to bully people. When the merit ran out, one day a new prisoner arrived. This new prisoner came in, and no one knew what crime he committed, but he was gentle, normal, his physique wasn't intimidating at all. But unexpectedly, he was full of martial arts skills. So this guy, the old-timer, used to his bullying ways, the old ghost bullying the new ghost, saw a new person come in. He told his fellow inmates to grab his arms and legs to give him a beating to intimidate him, so that from then on he'd be scared, and then whoever brought him provisions, he'd have to hand it all over. Unexpectedly, this new guy was a martial arts master. They grabbed him, and he gave them a thrashing that left them weak from head to toe. From then on, he made this guy clean the toilets, do the most degrading things, and he beat him. Meaning he crippled his legs and arms in that prison camp, and didn't let him report it to the guards. From then on, meaning he couldn't even get revenge, he became a disabled person. And when he was released from prison, all the old grudges from when he had bullied others, now they came back to repay him. They beat him, they cursed him, they tormented him in all sorts of ways. That is the compensation, it's reversed. Instead of doing good deeds to be loved and cherished by people, he used arrogance. When the karmic retribution came, the situation was flipped. Everyone bullied him back. Everyone bullied him back. He no longer had the power to make people afraid. That is the compensation of the law of karma. Or, there's a person who discovered this. They have a talent for sweet talk. Whenever they talk to someone, they are skillful, they flatter them, praise them. The person is ugly. They praise them as beautiful. The person is clumsy. They praise them as talented. They are certain to win affection. And once they've won people's affection, they can then take advantage of their money, take advantage of their help. For a while at the beginning, it worked. There were many people who were taken advantage of for their money and help. But then when the merit ran out, people naturally got disgusted and avoided them. No matter what flattery they used, people wouldn't believe it. And every time they uttered words of praise and flattery, people would feel contempt. They would not succeed. And their life would fall back into misery. That is what's called compensation. We do things that are not in line with karma and the compensation strikes back. Or, for example, There are scientists who, when they study Buddhism, they see that in Buddhism there are 4 levels of meditative absorption from the first jhana, second jhana, third jhana to the fourth jhana. And if anyone enters these progressively deeper levels of concentration, they will have psychic powers, wisdom, and miraculous abilities. So this scientist said that sitting and practicing in the Buddhist way takes too long. Who knows when one will be able to concentrate the mind? So, he decided he would research and create a type of medicine that, once you drink it, your mind becomes concentrated. And when your mind is concentrated, you'll have psychic powers immediately. And that way, it's not that each person has to practice so arduously. People just need to have money to buy that medicine. Everyone drinks it, and everyone achieves a concentrated mind. Everyone has miraculous abilities, has psychic powers. And the medicine was really effective. After drinking it, people were as if they entered a meditative state. Their minds were empty, with no more thoughts. And then wisdom started to appear. Suddenly, you know this, you know that, you look at someone and know everything about them and so on. It was real, not fake. But after a year, after that 1 year passed, the brain started to get damaged. The medicine, when taken, was no longer effective. The mind would no longer concentrate, but instead, it would become agitated, a mental crisis. Drinking the medicine didn't bring concentration anymore, but instead, the agitation got worse and worse until at some point, they went crazy. Took off their clothes and ran naked in the streets. That is the compensation. Therefore, we should just do good deeds correctly to progress, which is better than using a technique to raise our merit index, to raise our karmic index. So we have to, for example, our index is 25, 30, 45, 50, whatever it is. We must raise that index through virtue and merit, and never use a technique or superstition. The work of making merit to raise our index is very arduous, very long-term, but it is sustainable. A person with wisdom prefers the arduous, long-term path that is sustainable. They don't like cutting corners, living for the moment. Using some method, using a charm to win others' affection. Using a type of medicine to be healthier, it has its dangers. It's only temporary. It has its hidden, latent dangers. For example, like this. For example, we want to be less sad. For example, someone says, "I'm so sad. Go out with me." Go where? Let's go here and drink alcohol. After drinking, not yet over the sadness. Let's go gambling. After gambling, not yet over the sadness. Let's go to a nightclub. And partying, debauchery, these unhealthy entertainments. It seems temporarily like, wow, fun, huh? But what happens after that? After that, the soul is broken. Sadder than before. Because these fun games, these entertainments that are turbulent and defiled, leave behind them a deep, persistent sadness. There's nothing there. Like one time, a mother brought her son to the pagoda. Looking at the son, he seemed educated, but he complained of insomnia, mental weakness, and instability. Seeing that he looked well-behaved, the monks asked, "Why? What was it like before that you ended up like this?" He confessed, "Before, I used ecstasy. I went out with friends and they encouraged me to use ecstasy. And when he took ecstasy, it was stimulating. He would just follow the beat of the music and dance wildly. And it felt very good, very satisfying. So he kept using it from time to time. He didn't dare to use it continuously because he didn't have the money, but it went on for about a year. After he stopped using it, his brain started to get damaged. He couldn't sleep. His mind was always tense, volatile, anxious, fearful, all sorts of things. He felt insecure, no longer having the gentle joy he had before. So that's called enjoying seeking fun to alleviate sadness with a harmful kind of fun, through drugs, through narcotics, through defiled fun. Later, the sadness is even more terrible. But if we know how to live altruistically, to love people, then the joy we get will be extremely, extremely sustainable. Or if we know how to meditate, the happiness we get is very sustainable. Or if we study the teachings of the Buddha, every time we understand something, the joy in that teaching is truly immense. That is why we have the term Dharma joy Phap Hai, or meditative bliss Tien Duyet. What is eating Dharma joy Phap Hai Tuk? Hai means joy, happiness. Phap is the Dharma. It means we hear the Dharma and we understand it, and we are so happy we can't imagine. Dear Buddhists, have you ever listened to the teachings and felt your heart fill with joy? Have you? Yes? You have, right? You have experienced it. You have experienced it, that's why you have returned here to endure the wind and cold like this, so that we can hear the Dharma. Because when we hear a certain truth, we understand its sublimity and we are overjoyed. And many times, that joy from the teachings is like a spiritual food that cannot be lacked. The day you don't hear the Dharma, you can't sleep. Is there anyone who can't sleep if they don't hear the Dharma for a day? Some people come up and say, "Venerable Sir, when I can't sleep, I turn on your tape, I listen, and I fall right asleep." They say, "That's right, that's the absolute truth." Oh, that's not quite right. That is called eating Dharma joy. Or eating meditative bliss tien duyet tuk is the same. When a meditator can focus their mind until it's empty, their heart has a joy. And any day they don't have that joy in meditation, they can't stand it. It's like lacking food. That is called tien duyet tuk. One must eat the joy of meditation. So joys like that are truly sustainable, truly noble. Or like this, we want to be wealthy. Then we must make merit, we must transform our karma, we must be dedicated to business, we must be thrifty. It's not that we gamble. Gambling is when we rely on a sudden stroke of luck to take someone else's assets into our pocket. We place a bet in a game of chance, and if we win, we take their money into our pocket. That way is not sustainable. So almost all people who gamble must become poor, because their way of making money is wrong. As for those who run gambling dens, who use cheating and deception to take people's money, they will become very rich, extremely rich. But later, they will all be arrested by the police. Or they will be killed in revenge. Because that is not sustainable. Therefore, or wanting to get rich by just praying or being superstitious by burying charms and so on, that is not the sustainable way. So to become rich, there is only one way. We must keep making merit to transform our karma of poverty, be dedicated in business, be thrifty, discreet, frugal. And that's how we slowly rise up. Or, we want to have beauty. For example, we see that we are not very beautiful. So we try to change our mind first. First, prostrate to the Buddha respectfully and regularly. Then, love everyone. Have no arrogance. Always maintain humility. Suddenly, after a time, our face becomes charming. Charming first, not yet beautiful. To be beautiful, one must accumulate merit from previous lives. But it's strange, for example, in the past, we were ugly, people looked at us and didn't like us. But every day, we prostrate to the Buddha 1 or 200 times with a sincere and earnest heart. And we vow to love all beings. After a period of time, 5 years later, it has to be many years, not just 1 or 2 months. 5 years later, suddenly our face gradually changes. The same face. But when people meet us again, they naturally have a good impression. That is changing the beauty index by making merit. Or health, it's the same. Or the affectionate interaction with people is also the same. Meaning, when we interact with people, we never have the intention of winning them over. Now, if we interact with someone and we have the intention of winning their affection, that is a wrong intention. A wrong intention. Meaning, I have to say a compliment to him so he will like me. Or I have to be attentive, polite so they will like me. This "so they will like me" is a wrong goal. A disciple of the Buddha does not have that goal. So what goal does a disciple of the Buddha have? Remember this. A disciple of the Buddha does not have the goal of doing something so that people will like them. What goal does a disciple of the Buddha have? A disciple of the Buddha has this goal. Whatever I do, I don't know, but it is so that I can love people, not so that people will love me. Do you agree? Agreed. That is the principle. Always think, what can I do to love people, not what can I do to win people's favor so they will love me. Remember that. We, as disciples of the Buddha, live righteously and nobly like that. If people hate us, let them. As long as we continue to love them, that is a true disciple of the Buddha. And living like that, naturally, after a period of time, people will come to love us. Naturally, that is how karma works. And when we know more, we also have to balance the creation of merit with the enjoyment of merit. We humans are like this. Living in this world, we are forced to enjoy merit. For example, every day we have to eat rice, that is enjoying merit. Every day we have to spend money, we are enjoying merit. Every day we have to go here and there to communicate, buy clothes, ride vehicles, enjoy conveniences, meaning we are always enjoying merit. Living in this world is always enjoying merit. Or now, we go to the pagoda and whenever it's mealtime, someone brings boxes of rice for us to eat, we are also enjoying merit. But parallel to enjoying merit, every day we are also creating merit, right? we are also creating merit. For example, whatever profession we do, if we are dedicated, that is also creating merit. For instance, if our profession is a nurse or a doctor, and we sincerely care for our patients, we are also creating merit. Or if we are a civil servant, and every day we process many documents and tasks for the people, we are also creating merit. Even a person who sweeps the streets every day diligently and devotedly sweeping the road is also creating merit. So in this life, always everyone is both creating merit and enjoying merit. But for a wise person, which one is more, which one is less? Which is more, which is less? The creating versus the enjoying. A wise person creates much but enjoys little. But a person who doesn't know the teachings always just wants to enjoy and doesn't want to create. Whenever it's about serving others, they avoid it. But whenever it's about eating, they jump in. Meaning, when they see the work of carrying rice, they pretend not to see. But when the rice is brought to them, they step forward. For example, saying this, don't laugh. Okay? I'm not criticizing you, dear Buddhists. Actually, it's because the kitchen department has its own team. It's not possible for everyone to go in and carry rice. That would be chaos in the pagoda, instant chaos. So just go ahead and enjoy the merit. When at the pagoda, just enjoy the merit. But maybe later, when we are in another place, we will serve others in return. But for now, coming to the pagoda, there is the kitchen team of young people. Young Buddhists, they serve us, so we just enjoy it today, it's fine. Later, in another place, we'll serve in return. That's all. But our mindset is this. We are always willing to endure hardship to create more merit than we enjoy. And what happens then? Then we have a profit. We have a profit. Because everyone has to enjoy merit. Everyone, every day, has to eat, wear clothes, has to receive benefits. But how do we enjoy it so that later we have a profit? Having a profit means that when we are old, weak, and dying, we look and our merit is in surplus. When we can no longer do anything, no longer earn any money, but we are still cared for and served by everyone. And when we die and go to another realm, we return to a peaceful place, not struggling and wandering. That is creating more than enjoying. So in life, it's always like that. Always wanting to help people, help the world. Not wanting to receive the kindness of others too much. However, there are two ways of enjoying merit, the way of the ordinary person and the way of the bodhisattva. The enjoyment of merit of an ordinary person, how is it? And the enjoyment of merit of a bodhisattva, how is it? The enjoyment of merit of an ordinary person is like this. When they have merit, they just enjoy it to the fullest. And when they enjoy it to the fullest like that, selfishness and arrogance arise immediately. For example, now we are very rich, very rich. So we must build a huge house, buy a beautiful car, buy lots of nice clothes, and eat and dress up in all sorts of ways, enjoying to the fullest. A person like that truly has merit from a previous life, but their selfishness and arrogance are also growing day by day. That is called the way an ordinary person enjoys merit. If they have merit, they just enjoy it to the fullest. So what is the way a bodhisattva enjoys merit? The way a bodhisattva enjoys merit is that the bodhisattva takes that merit to create more good deeds, to continue creating, meaning when they have money, what do they do differently? For example, like this. For example, an ordinary person who has a lot of money, we know they will go shopping, entertain themselves, travel, party. But a bodhisattva, when they have money, they take that money to continue helping people, to continue spreading the teachings. They don't take that money to enjoy for themselves. They still have to enjoy the merit. They have to enjoy the money they have because they have the merit. But one side enjoys it for themselves, and the other side uses that merit for others to continue making merit, accumulating more merit until it becomes infinite, until it becomes a transcendent spirit. Those are the two differences. For example, like this. For example, the merit of having wisdom and intelligence. We will see that person either showing off or being destructive. How do they show off? Wherever they go, they beat their chest, I am a talented person. And how are they destructive? They go into computers and create viruses, release them into people's computers. They spread from this machine to that, destroying people's data for fun. That's called being destructive. Meaning you have talent, but you don't use it to serve the world, but to destroy the world. That is the way an ordinary person enjoys merit. But a bodhisattva, when they have wisdom, what do they do with it? To teach others, to help the world. So we see there are two ways of enjoying merit. That of the ordinary person and that of the bodhisattva. It's like that. The mind, the enjoyment of pleasure is a need for everyone. It is a natural need of the body and mind of a person. But the enjoyment of pleasure also depletes the merit of the body and mind. This is very strange. The enjoyment of pleasure is like a need of the body and mind. But it itself also takes away the merit of the body and mind. We like to eat delicious food, we like to drink alcohol, we like to enjoy carnal pleasures, and so on. But it also takes away merit. Takes away the merit. There's a movie, an American movie. This man, he was rich, and his wife, for some reason, committed suicide, leaving behind a daughter. And the daughter was deaf. Because she was deaf, she also became mute. She couldn't speak. Remember, we can speak because we hear. We hear others speak, and so we gradually speak like others. If we don't hear others speak, our mouths won't know how to speak. So a deaf person cannot speak. So this little girl was deaf like that. But in her circle of friends, she secretly circulated depraved books. Her body just kept growing bigger, and she had no morality to practice. So the physiological needs of a teenager just kept rising. And wherever she went, she would make a pass at men. She would go for a checkup, see a doctor, see a dentist, and she would find a way to make a pass at them. And watching that movie is not to criticize. Not for us to laugh at, but for us to understand a truth. The truth is that the human body and mind have a need to enjoy pleasure. But it itself also takes away the merit of the body and mind, making our body and mind no longer good and clear. That is the reason why true religious practitioners all call for moderation or celibacy. It's like that. The need of the body and mind exists. But we must overcome it to preserve the merit of the body and mind for cultivation. That is the compensation of the law of karma. It's like that. If we do not enjoy the merit of the world, we will be able to enjoy the merit of wisdom. That is the compensation of the law of karma. But if we enjoy the pleasures of the body and mind too much in compensation, we will not have the happiness of the wisdom of practice. That is mandatory, a compensation. We have to accept the price, the trade-off. Or for example, health. The health we have is due to merit from previous lives and due to training in this life. And then other factors too, like diet, genes, environment, and so on. The merit from previous lives. We just have to accept it. In our previous life, we did something wrong, we didn't know. But now, due to the training in this life, there are two ways to train in this life. One is we labor. We work diligently, that also creates health. Or we do exercise. But they are different. The labor and the exercise are very different. How are they different? The difference is here. The difference is that when we labor, for example, we chop wood, we carry water, we build roads, we build houses, we cook rice, we do this and that work, that is also moving our limbs. But it creates benefit for the world. Therefore, that is also a way of training, but the merit keeps increasing. But when we exercise, do we create any benefit for the world? Do we? No. We just stand in one place, lift a weight up and down to burn calories, to digest. It does make our muscles firm, it's true. It gets the result that our flesh and bones are firm. But there is no merit. Therefore, when it collapses, it's all gone. All gone. Because that does not create merit. It trains the muscles but does not create merit. So when an illness comes, it's lost. All lost. Becoming like a person with nothing left. But the person who labors moderately to create benefit for the world, building a house, paving a road for people to walk on, chopping a piece of wood, carrying some water, they are also training. And naturally, their merit is very lasting. In old age, they are strangely resilient, strangely healthy. So seeing people eat to their heart's content and then go jogging and exercising, I feel very sorry for them. Eating is enjoyment, right? Eating until full, eating delicious food. Eating nutritious food, that's enjoyment. And then after that, they exercise to burn it off so they don't get fat. They don't create any merit at all. Meaning, enjoying without creating. That person. Later on, it will be reversed, they will lose everything. And in today's era, it's the same. We have advanced techniques. For example, now, if we go from here to Ho Chi Minh City, if we walk, we have to travel arduously, maybe for 1 or 2 days to get there. But if we go by car, vroom, we're there in an hour. So the merit of humanity has increased. So we get to enjoy technical conveniences. But if we abuse that technique, the karmic consequence happens immediately. How does it happen? For example, like this. For example, there's no good reason for us to go, but we take the car and go for a joyride. Go for a joyride, a meaningless trip, go sightseeing, go do nonsense, just to consume gasoline, pollute the air, waste money, and so on. Then later, we won't be able to go anymore. Not being able to go anymore means what? Not being able to go anymore means having to be bedridden. Which means what? It means we will have a stroke or paralysis or something and just lie there, unable to move. What's the reason? Someone says, "Venerable sir, why is it that my father? His whole life he never did anything evil. He lived very well. But now my father has had a stroke and is bedridden." I ask, what did he like to do in his life? They say, "Sir, he just loved to travel." The cause lies right there. Going out even when there was no reason to, just for fun. So later on he is not allowed to go anymore. Because we abuse the technique. Therefore, the techniques we have, for example, electricity, sound systems, air conditioners, vehicles, are technical conveniences. We must use them extremely carefully. If we abuse them, later we will lose everything. Meaning the slightest thing, you turn on the air conditioner to cool the room, this room, that room. In the future, we will be born in the Sahara Desert, where it's scorching hot, or go down to hell to be burned for fun. The slightest thing, you take the car out, in the future, you'll be bedridden, unable to go anywhere. So remember the techniques. The conveniences brought by technology, we are not allowed to abuse them. We must be extremely careful, because if we abuse them, there will come a day when we lose everything. We will have nothing left, because that is the compensation of the law of karma. Or, if we reflect on history, there are periods when Buddhism experienced tremendous ups and downs. There was a king. In his reign, he revered Buddhism to the high heavens. Then his son became king and he destroyed all of Buddhism. He ordered all monks to be killed, all of them driven out, and all temples burned. You say, huh? How strange. The father was a devout believer, but the son came and destroyed Buddhism. That is the compensation of the law of karma. Why? Because during the reign of the devout father king, he issued an edict that everyone must revere the Sangha. Or if you see a pagoda, you must make offerings. If you see a monk, you must bow respectfully, prostrate, and make offerings. It was the king's order, no one dared to oppose it. So, whenever they saw someone who was ordained with a shaved head and saffron robes, people would have to greet them respectfully, bow, make offerings, and provide for them. But unexpectedly, that monk was not worthy. And many people, seeing the king's edict like that, just rushed to ordain. They ordained to enjoy the law. To enjoy the law that if you are a monk, you will be respected and provided for by others. They were enjoying too much merit. Their own merit was not worthy of that. So when it came to the reign of the Sun King, he reversed everything. He started to slaughter, he oppressed Buddhism to compensate. Because that is the law of compensation. So what is the right way to make Buddhism sustainable? To make Buddhism sustainable, it should be like this. The national law or the teachers must teach the dear Buddhists the principle that we respect the Sangha according to the virtue of the Sangha, according to the virtue of the monk. To whatever degree that monk is a true practitioner, we respect them that much more. If that monk is not a true practitioner, we do not respect them. That is fairness. And if it is like that, Buddhism will be very sustainable. The monks must strive to practice with their own real strength, with their own true virtue. Not because of a rule. Because of a rule that says, oh, to respect the Buddha, you must respect the Sangha without caring what the monk is like. Or, if you ordain, you must be given preferential treatment without caring what that monk is like. Then it will certainly be compensated, it will be reversed, and there will come a period when Buddhism will be persecuted, will be suppressed. So why is it that in many countries, we see Buddhism as the national religion, people are devout, but then at some point, Buddhism declines and disappears completely? Islam or other religions rise up and take over, seize control. It is only because the monks enjoyed too much of their merit. It's like, just by shaving your head and ordaining, you are overly respected by people. So later, Buddhism in that place declines completely. Another religion rises up and attacks it left and right. It's not, huh? Why isn't the Buddha powerful? Why isn't the Buddha powerful enough to prevent Buddhism from being attacked by others? It is simply because people have misunderstood the teachings, have behaved wrongly. It should have been that our respect for the Sangha is in accordance with the virtue of that Sangha. If that man practices well, we respect him a lot. If he practices little, we respect him little. Just like that. That forces the Sangha to truly practice. To truly practice, they must try hard, be diligent in their practice, and maintain their virtue. Then Buddhism will be very sustainable and no force can attack it. So the rule, sometimes because of the rule, we misunderstand. People say, Venerable Sir, why did the Buddha teach that we must respect the Sangha? I say, the Buddha taught correctly. Why? Because in the time of the Buddha, there were so many noble Sangha members. In the time of the Buddha, arahants were everywhere. And if not an arahant, that monk was also a sotapanna. They were all worthy of our respect. Therefore, at that time, there were so many noble and sage monks. So seeing a monk and respecting them was guaranteed not to be wrong, rarely wrong. But in this era, the noble Sangha is so scarce. In this era, to say noble and sage monks are rare, we just hope that the monk is truly sincere in their practice. Has the ideal of practicing. That's already wonderful, right? Just needing that monk to be truly sincere in their practice is something we are very happy about. We already see that. Oh, so we have a place to take refuge. Let alone asking if this monk has attained this holy fruit or that monk has attained that holy fruit. You can't find them. It's very rare. We just hope they are truly sincere in their practice. And we are happy to death. We have a place to take refuge. Having a pagoda that is warm and cozy for us to come and go is enough. For example, another compensation of the law of karma is like this. For example, praise and criticism. Praise and criticism are the same. If we praise someone too much, and if that person enjoys that praise too much, they will also suffer a loss of merit. Therefore, when we praise someone, do it in moderation. Don't praise too much to preserve the merit for that person. Because if we praise too much, that person will also get tired. Just praise moderately. And what about ourselves? We must always be humble and discreet to preserve our own merit. For example, we come to the pagoda, we practice diligently, we are good with the teachings. We meet many Buddhists, we can propagate the Dharma. Everyone loves and likes us. And everyone praises us. We must be careful. We may suffer a loss of merit because of that praise. Even though they praise us correctly, not wrongly. But we like it. We take delight in the praise of others. Be careful, our merit is also decreasing. Then we will encounter unlucky things. So what did our ancestors say? Our ancestors said this, after praise, be careful, you might fall. The phrase tehen, I don't really know what it means, but the idea is that after too much praise, later on, some kind of unexpected risk will appear again. That is also karma. That is the compensation of karma. Therefore, when we see that person, we praise them just a little bit. And that person also enjoys the praise just a little bit. Then their karmic merit will be more sustainable. So the thing that increases our merit is, we prostrate to the Buddha. We respect those who are worthy of respect. We know how to praise good people, then our merit will be increased. The Buddha is an inexhaustible source of merit. Therefore, we can just prostrate to the Buddha freely, prostrate to the Buddha forever. The Buddha never loses merit, but our merit just keeps increasing gradually. So, don't forget to prostrate to the Buddha every day. There is another compensation of the law of karma. For example, an actor, they go into a movie or a play, they play the role of a king. They play the role of the Buddha, they play the role of a hero. It is very dangerous. Because on stage, they have enjoyed a merit greater than what they have, right? They are not really a king. But when they get on stage, with their hands on their hips, issuing orders, they are exactly like a king. They are also enjoying merit beyond their own. So we notice those people. We notice that in their old age, they naturally suffer. Something that causes them to decline, to go downhill. Is that so? Is it? Yes, it is. That is because they played a role that exceeded their merit. And if they don't know how to practice, if, for example, during the day they play the role of a king, but at night they know how to prostrate to the Buddha and practice, then it's fine. There's merit to compensate and maintain it. But if during the day they play the role of a king, and at night they just party and don't know how to practice at all, then later on we see that person, their time is over, they have completely declined. They decline in old age. Or playing the role of a hero is the same. Playing the role of a hero, you feel like you are extraordinarily awesome. But then you might decline. In the history of cinema, there is a character who played the role of Superman. Later in life, he had a fall and was bedridden until he died. While in the movies, he was a Superman who could fly everywhere. That is because also enjoying merit greater than one has. So that is also the compensation of the law of karma. Or another compensation of the law of karma is this: because people impersonate. They disguise themselves as police officers, they disguise themselves as government officials, they disguise themselves as monks, they pretend to be a rich tycoon, to enjoy the respect of others. Then later, they are forced to be met with contempt in return. If someone pretends to be a police officer to intimidate people, to make people afraid, they will certainly be caught by the real police. They will be treated in the opposite way, be despised in return. Or a person who pretends to be a monk to receive respect and offerings from others, then later they will be completely ruined, unable to raise their head again. That is the compensation of the law of karma. So the opposite is also true. There are people who are high up but pretend to be low, and they are very sustainable. For example, this man, he is a police officer, but to solve a case, he has to play the role of a beggar. He has to carry a purse bag and walk with a limp like this. But in reality, he is a high-ranking person. So a person who has to play a role lower than their merit, later on, the compensation is that their merit is very, very sustainable, very great. It's like that. Or a wealthy owner, but they treat their workers with extreme simplicity, with extreme respect, then this person's merit is very sustainable. Because you are the boss. You have the right to be served first, to sit at the head of the table, to give orders. But this owner is the opposite. They talk to the people below them, their employees, always with respect, with politeness. And they care for their employees, sometimes even more than they care for themselves. So those people, they enjoy the compensation of the law of karma in reverse. Later on, they are very sustainable, very prosperous. It's like that. Or there were some kings in the old days like that. They pretended to be commoners to go on inspection tours. Going on inspection tours, as we often hear in stories, which king often disguised himself as a commoner to go on inspection tours. Qianlong. That's right, you're good. You've studied the films carefully. It was Emperor Qianlong. The affairs of the court, he knew who to entrust them to, how to stabilize things. And he specialized in disguising himself as a commoner to go and observe the people's situation. Being a king is the supreme position. People always bow, serve, and attend to you. But he disguised himself as a commoner, having to go through the struggles of this and that. He pretended to have a merit lower than his own. Therefore, Emperor Qianlong was the emperor who he lived the longest, to 75 years old. He lived healthily because he enjoyed a merit lower than what he had. So it was very, very sustainable. It's like that. So usually, a bodhisattva often likes to appear as ordinary. We often tell stories about a bodhisattva appearing in the guise of an old woman to help ferry us across a river, or to cure our illness. Usually bodhisattvas are like that. Bodhisattvas do not appear in high and noble forms much because they like to appear lower than their own merit. It's like that. Or, in a large festival gathering like this at home, we might be the boss, we might be the father, the grandfather, the grandmother. But coming here, we go and do the work of serving everyone. Like a servant. We bring water for the new guests, we carry rice, we arrange lodging, we worry about everyone like a servant. While at home, we are the boss. That person is also a person who enjoys a merit lower than what they have. Therefore, later on, the law of karmic compensation will reverse and this person will be very happy, very happy. So anyone who, in a crowded place, always takes care of serving others, that is planting a very good seed. We will enjoy the compensation of the law of karma in a very, very special way. Therefore, we hear it said that officials are the servants of the people. That is also the law of compensation of karma. I don't know if it can be done or not, but that's what Uncle Ho said. Officials must see themselves as the servants of the people. If that sentence could be applied, it would be incredibly powerful, because being an official is a merit, the merit of leadership. But you see yourself as a servant. You do the same job. For example, the chairman of a commune must be the chairman of the commune. But instead of seeing himself as a leader, this commune chairman sees himself as a servant of the people. Then his merit in the future will be very, very great. That person enjoys the compensation of the law of karma. So if we live in this world and we know how to be frugal, always see ourselves as low and humble, always take care of making merit, are humble, take care of helping people. Take care of propagating the Dharma. Take care of protecting the Buddha Dharma. I repeat, helping people, propagating the Dharma, protecting the Buddha Dharma in a manner that is frugal and humble. This is important. This whole lecture is just this much. There are 3 things we must do regularly. First, help people. Second, propagate the Dharma. Third, protect the Buddha Dharma in a manner that is frugal and humble. If we can do this, if we can behave like this, our merit will grow larger and larger. Today, on the occasion of the Buddha's birthday, in this Dharma talk and discussion, we talked about the topic of the compensation of the law of karma. First, so that we can make offerings to all Buddhas and as a gift to each other. We also pray for all beings in the Dharma realm to be peaceful and happy. For people to live knowing how to love each other, knowing how to practice according to the Buddha Dharma.